Hello, Lynn. Very warm welcome to PTC Punjabi. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you for having me.
We know that during a COVID-19 crisis, people's lifestyle have been dramatically changed. Some are managing to overcome this stress, but there are still many people who are suffering anxiety and depression, especially kids, because it's very hard for them to understand such crises. I would like to ask you, how are you engaging people through your online sessions, and how are you supporting them?
Excellent question. So you're absolutely right. We have mental health and physical health that affect everybody on a daily basis. And right now, we're in a bit of a crisis, which increases people's stress levels. So presently, I am offering mental health therapy to children and families through phone or through secured online platforms.
During this isolation measures, we know that digital dependency has increased. Kids are spending more time online. What do you think? How vigilant parents need to be about what apps the child is using and who they are engaging with?
I think that's a great question. There's two folds here. One is that I'm talking to a lot of families and children about basic safety when using the internet system and accessing resources to teach families to be the children what is safe and not safe to be viewing on the internet. I also encourage families to maybe not always be on top of their children, but being aware on a daily basis of what they're doing and who they're engaging with. Especially now, we have these online platforms that are not secured or locked in where other people can enter, and being aware of how to address those issues when they come up. That I think that if we hide behind the fear of the scary things behind, we avoid really addressing those issues with our children. So the same before this pandemic and being locked down, I always say to families, there's some basic safety tips. And also within your computer systems, you can actually do a lot of blocking and not allowing your child to access certain sites that are inappropriate. But what I'm actually finding, what's happening, for the messaging I'm getting from a lot of the families is not more so appropriateness of the internet system, but using it at late nights. So what we know is that science tells us that when you look at screens for long periods of time, it can affect your body. And what I'm finding is that we're having a lot of children not sleeping. And so I'm talking to a lot of parents about the blue light that's in screens, actually, and that will suppress the body's release of melatonin. So we're having a lot of children not sleeping. And then when we don't get enough sleep, we have some acting out behaviors and some increase of not being able to address stress and being able to cope.
Absolutely. I was talking to a Peel Regional Police Constable, and I was talking to him about the online child exploitation cases. Even he mentioned that it's more of a parent's responsibility to take care of the kids.
Absolutely. I used to actually work in Brampton Courthouse working with children who were sexually abused. And what we have found is that if we can get engagement from families and we can get families on board, we have more of a chance of making a preventative measure of addressing these issues and not allowing our children to get access to predators.
If we talk about the domestic violence cases, we know that during these crises, the crime rate have decreased, but as per the reports, the domestic violence cases have increased. How are you doing your online counseling sessions? What are you sharing with your clients, that how they can, support each other and help in decreasing the domestic violence cases?
You're absolutely right. Here in where I am in North York, Toronto, Canada, we know that there's been an increase between 18 and 20% of domestic violence here in our community. And I'm sure that is relevant and the same across the world. As we know that the unfortunate thing, working with children, the access has due to the fact that children are now in their homes and not attending school, because in children's mental health, what we do know is that the majority of our referrals come from the school systems. So now we have this increase of domestic violence, and we also can relate that to the stress levels that are increased within the families due to this pandemic that's going on. So what I tell families as a preventative measure is I call it like the 5-minute mental health check-in. And what I'm sharing with families in our sessions is that there's some basic rules or check-ins that you can do for yourself to see where you're at and take that preventative measure. And one is as simple as, are you eating regularly? Have you been outside today? I know that there's a lot of restrictions going on, but we're not restricted to walk around the block. And I tell families that you at least need a half an hour to an hour of sunlight and fresh air. And this is a time for community engagement. We're all at home, we all have windows and doors, and we're seeing each other, and we need to stay connected. We know that we all have friends and family, and we need to be reaching out to them and look for those signs. And we all know those signs within our own friends and our own community. So I think engagement, staying connected, and checking in with self. Some of the children and families I work with, basic also another check-in is, have you showered today? We know that those are other signs, right? When we stop taking care of ourselves.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think a lot of people do not know that there are resources available to them in the community. Also, if you can share what people can do within their own family and community for warning signs that mental health is affected.
Absolutely. And that would be my number one, I say to families, is stay connected. Being able to, even that phone call, that Skype, we all have friends. I have friends who are feeling very isolated, and I continuously reach out, even if it's just a hello. And what we need to continue to do is, it's interesting that physical health, if we need to call a doctor, if we need to get to a hospital, it seems to be okay, and there's no stigma behind that. But when we're looking at our mental health, for some reason, we've allowed the stigma to be stuck to mental health. And what I really try to tell families, and also to my students at Humber College, is that body and mind are connected, and that we need to take care of it before it's too late. So being able to reach out right now, it used to be for children's mental health, the school systems who reached out to us making the referrals. We know that families, 1 in 3 families in Ontario, Canada, are trying to refer to medical or for mental health services. So right now, if you don't know your local phone number and you can just reach out to 911, you can use that crisis line. There's also for teens, I always give out my favorite is 741-741. It is a text message and it's a crisis line for teens, and it will not be traced unless they're actually in the midst of an attempt to hurt self. And what I always say to families too is that if you don't know in your local community what resources there are, call your family doctor, because right now the doctors, I'm getting a quicker response from my doctors and psychiatrists than I ever have before. I'm not driving. I'm not waiting in a wait space. I called my son's family doctor yesterday, and that doctor called me within the hour. They also are having case managers connected to the doctors to support doctors giving resources to children and families.
Absolutely. And even I would like to, request my viewers, if they are looking for help, do reach out to your community members. And I think right now everyone needs some kind of support. Do you want to share advice or message, like how can people support each other in the community?
Well, that's the greatest question, is how can we support each other in the community? Say hello. For example, yesterday, I was told by one of my neighbors that they found a grocery store that had 1 hour delivery, and I've been waiting weeks for groceries. So I have a retired couple next door to me, and I know that they needed that information. I went and knocked on their door. I know that we're supposed to keep our distance, but we can still keep that distance and respect the rules, but still stay connected. So keep connected verbally, physically. As long as you keep that distance and we follow those rules, we're all going to be safe together. But again, it's turning to each other, and even a hello to the neighbor. Don't need to look away.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for sharing this information. And I hope you keep yourself safe.
Stay safe and well, and thank you so much.
Thank you.